Begin, though, with the latest on that mass shooting. Downtown Highland Park, Illinois, is still locked down this morning following the attack at a 4th of July parade. First, we're going to show you some video that captured the moment the shooting started.
That horrific scene sent people scrambling for safety after a gunman opened fire from a rooftop. At least 6 people were killed and dozens others were injured in the violence. One witness said the chaos was hard to process.
I guess in hindsight, I heard the shots. I didn't know they were shots. I just didn't know they were shots. Didn't even occur to me. And then even when people started running, I didn't get it. But then you saw the terror on their faces, and I just saw a sea of people coming at me, running.
After an 8-hour manhunt, authorities announced that a suspect, 22-year-old Robert E. Cremo III, had been apprehended. In a statement after the attack, President Biden vowed to keep fighting the epidemic of gun violence in this country. The Gun Violence Archive, it's a group that tracks gun violence, says there have been 313 mass shootings in America this year. The website defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people shot, not including the shooter.
We have a team with us to cover all the new information this morning. NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli is here, along with NBC News law enforcement analyst Dermot Shea. But we begin with the latest on the ground in Highland Park with NBC News correspondent Jay Gray.
Hey there, good morning. And look, this area is still locked down after yesterday's deadly massacre. 6 killed, more than 24 injured when a 4th of July holiday tradition suddenly turned very tragic.
A 4th of July celebration quickly shifts to chaos.
All of a sudden you hear these howitzer type noises coming, pow, pow. I mean, a sound I've never heard before.
A gunman with a high-powered rifle apparently firing from the top of a nearby building at spectators lining a parade route.
You saw massive amounts of blood in the people that were gone. Their injuries were horrific.
Families rushed to escape the massacre, leaving behind rows of empty chairs. Officers moving in, locating a weapon, then later tracking down someone they call a person of interest.
The person of interest, Robert Cremo III, was spotted by a North Chicago unit. That subject did flee. A brief pursuit went on. Ultimately, they were able to get the subject stopped at Wesley and 41 in Lake Forest. The subject was taken into custody without incident.
The holiday in this Chicago suburb turning into a nightmare.
On a day that we came together to celebrate community and freedom, we're instead mourning the tragic loss of life and struggling with the terror that was brought upon us.
The latest in a string of U.S. cities this summer, now dealing with overwhelming heartache and unthinkable loss.
A little more now on that person of interest, Robert Cremo III. Investigators are looking at what's described as a disturbing and extensive social media footprint that includes tributes to mass shootings and public killings, as well as constant references to murder, suicide, and death. That's the latest from here in Highland Park. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
All right, Jay, thank you so much.
For more on how the president is reacting to the shooting, let's bring in NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli. Mike, good morning to you. So we know the president was made aware of the shooting yesterday and later spoke out about it from the White House. What was his message to Americans? And do we know yet if he is planning any sort of visit to Illinois?
Yeah, Joe, this epidemic of gun violence really breaking through on what was a very celebratory atmosphere at the White House yesterday. The president hosting military families, as well as for the first time since taking off his White House staff and their families as well. The president gave remarks, formal remarks, in which he talked constantly about this idea of the United States engaged again in that battle for the soul of America. Talked about how despite all the progress we've made at a country, there's also forces pulling us backwards. And this came up in the context of gun violence as well. Let's listen to part of what the president had to say.
Before I left for Europe, I signed a law, the first real gun safety law in 30 years. Things will get better still, but not without more hard work together. You all heard what happened. You all heard what happened today. But each day we're reminded there's nothing guaranteed about our democracy. Nothing guaranteed about our way of life. We have to fight for it, defend it, and earn it by voting.
You hear there the president talking about earning it by voting. That has been a constant message from the president, whether it's about voting rights, about abortion rights, or in this case about gun safety, an issue that the administration thought they made significant progress in. It was also worth noting that the president there only indirectly referring to the tragedy yesterday. Later, in a separate set of remarks, he did ask for a moment of silence in honor of the victims, also talked about all the efforts the administration was making in coordination with local officials as well.
Yeah, so Mike, I mean, we know the president has signed that historic gun reform legislation, but he has also said more needs to be done. So I guess the question is, what is next? Do we know? Are there any actions the White House can take, or is there going to be a push for even more gun legislation?
This is really the big question, Joe, right? Whether that piece of legislation that the president signed, the first major piece of gun safety legislation in decades, was the sum total of what Washington is capable of doing, or whether it represented the start of some forward progress. Certainly the White House keeps saying that they're balancing the need to continue pushing forward for additional legislation while also considering every possible executive action. Joe, you also asked about whether the president might be making plans to travel to the region. It is worth noting, based on what we know about his schedule this week, today he's honoring some Vietnam veterans with the Medal of Honor. Later this week, he's actually giving for the first time the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor that the president chooses. One of those recipients is going to be Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, former Congresswoman from Arizona, who, of course, suffered herself from an incident, a mass shooting, in which she has since dedicated her life towards pushing forward for the need for gun safety legislation. Certainly a powerful moment, even as the White House considers other potential plans as they wait for more information about what happened in Illinois and whether the president should be meeting with victims as well.
All right, Mike Memoli. Mike, thank you so much.
For more, we're now joined by Dermot Shea. He's a former New York City Police Commissioner and NBC News law enforcement analyst. Thanks so much for joining us. So I'm hoping that you can walk us through what happens next year in this investigation. So President Biden mentioned that federal assistance was being deployed to Highland Park. What role would federal agents play in this kind of investigation?
Well, thanks for having me, Savannah. We're entering a new phase of the investigation now, and thankfully he was apprehended yesterday in quick order. Now it's all about the prosecution. As local, state, and federal authorities, as you said, as one unified team, gather and present evidence to make sure that they have the strongest possible case here.
As we heard in Jay Gray's report, law enforcement is combing through social media for anything they can uncover, and it does seem like there have been some disturbing finds there. What types of things are they looking for that could aid in this investigation?
Anything that speaks to premeditation would be very important in a case like this. So they will be issuing subpoenas to multiple outlets, I anticipate. They'll also be relying on other departments to help if they don't have those that information themselves. And that's something that's frequently done where it's across the country, fusion centers built. And it's really all about sharing information, because as you can imagine, trying to find that proverbial needle in a haystack across the internet is always not as easy as you would think. So information that is gathered from one police department is routinely passed on, and then that can be built upon to really solidify the case.
Now, it wasn't just Highland Park where July 4th celebrations were actually disrupted. 2 officers were hurt after a shooting sent people running at a concert in Philadelphia. In Orlando, fears of a shooting caused people to scatter as well. Talk to us about how difficult it is to police large gatherings like this and keep them safe.
Well, and that's one of the main takeaways here, is that really our way of life is being disrupted, Savannah. And you see it with more and more routine across the country at different types of gatherings. And these are gatherings that years ago would have a few police officers probably assigned to traffic duty, maybe to let people cross the street and not much more. Today, when you have an incident like this taking place, you have to build in that overlay of what is the incident going to look like? Do we have people on the roof? Do we have people in plain clothes? Do we have people perhaps with canines, bomb detection, blocker cars? And, you know, when you start having these conversations, Savannah, 2 things come to mind. Number one, it's a sad state of affairs that we have to have these conversations. And number 2, when you think about the number of incidents taking place across the country, it is impossible to do this at every single event. And the money and the resources alone makes it impossible. So it's always a balance. And in small departments such as this, I really feel for them because it could stretch the resources incredibly thin.
Absolutely. Our way of life is being disrupted. What a way to put it. Dermot Shea, thanks so much for your time this morning. Also breaking this morning, those two officers just mentioned that were injured in that 4th of July concert shooting in Philadelphia are now out of the hospital. Authorities say both officers were treated and released overnight. One was grazed by a bullet, the other shot in the shoulder while working security detail for last night's event. Investigators say it's unclear if the officers were targeted or if they were struck during what they're calling celebratory gunfire during the festivities. No arrests have been made.
Now to Akron, Ohio. The city is on edge after police released body camera footage of the fatal shooting of 25-year-old Jayland Walker. Officers say they attempted to stop Walker for a traffic violation, but he led them on a high-speed chase, and they say they believe he shot at them from the vehicle. Now, police say that Walker then jumped out of the car and officers chased him on foot, eventually shooting him. Authorities say Walker was unarmed when he was shot, but police say he was wearing a ski mask and a gun was found on his driver's seat. We want to warn viewers the body camera footage could be disturbing for some. The video prompted the largest protest in Akron since Walker was killed on June 27th. Officials say at least 8 officers were directly involved in the shooting. 7 of them are white and 1 is black. Authorities say at least 60 wounds were found on Walker's body. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins us now from Akron with the latest. Maggie, good morning to you. So there was this curfew that was put in place overnight. It ran until 6 a.m. local time. What was the scene like there overnight, and are any more protests planned?
Sure, Joe. In short, it seems like the curfew worked. We called police this morning after hearing nothing really popping up overnight compared to the last couple of nights, basically. And officers saying once that curfew went into effect at 9 p.m. Last night, mostly people stayed calm. The streets remained mostly clear. But you're looking at video now of businesses downtown that remain damaged from protests over the last couple of nights. We also don't have any plans that we know of for protests today, but we should note they've been popping up sporadically over the last couple of days, some planned, some not. Among them, about 100 people marched to the mayor's house here in Akron yesterday, demanding justice and accountability for the death of Jayland Walker. Among their demands, they want the 8 officers who authorities say opened fire on Walker named and fired as soon as possible. Joe.
Maggie, let's talk about that body camera footage that was released by police. What new information about the shooting did we learn from it, and how's the family responding to that video?
Sure. So you mentioned a couple of things that police really wanted to highlight coming from that body camera video. Among them, they say Walker fired at them from his car, and you can see the flash of the gun from a security camera posted nearby, part of where they drove through. You can also hear an officer calling over his radio saying that they're reporting at least 1 shot fired, they believe, from the car. So they wanted to highlight that, saying that changed basically the mood going into those final fatal moments. They also obviously released the moments that Walker was killed. But at the same time, the family's attorney is calling for more accountability, saying he believes more video should be released of especially the moments when those shots were being fired. Again, an estimated 90 rounds. The clip that was released thus far is several angles kind of spliced together. So he wants everything released as soon as possible, Joe.
So we know the investigation here is going to take some time. Do we know what is next for this investigation?
We do. No ETA on how long exactly it should take. It's being handled by an outside state agency, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations. But basically the family and the attorney that I mentioned, who's kind of speaking for them at this point because they've declined to speak to media since the video was released, saying it's too painful. They're demanding, again, the utmost accountability and the utmost transparency during this investigation. Even if it's still ongoing, they say they want the video released now, including one clip that they say exists that they've been able to watch. The attorney has been able to watch, showing an officer reloading his weapon while those shots were being fired to then fire at Walker some more. The police department and the city, in the meantime, saying that they've released all the video that they can and all that's in line with city ordinances. But again, they say now this is in the hands of the state of Ohio. So TBD on when that will wrap up. Joe.
Maggie Vespa reporting from Akron. Maggie, thank you.
Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos. Danny, good morning. So authorities say that the 8 officers that fired their weapons are already on paid administrative leave. So what happens now that this body camera footage has been released?
That's pretty standard for officers to be placed on that kind of administrative leave pending an investigation. But what will happen now is there are a number of different body cam videos and security surveillance videos to scrutinize. And that's already begun. You can already find online photo or video diagramming what at least Akron police believe is a muzzle flash coming from the vehicle. That will be critical. And also the radio call that went out. Officers are in constant radio communication. Did that call go out, and were the pursuing officers aware that there was a report of a firearm, which, by the way, was bolstered in the end by the fact that there was a firearm in the car. So this is all information they're going to look at. And then, of course, ultimately, each officer's discharge, how many rounds were fired, and whether or not that was reasonable under the circumstances. You've got several different body cam angles, so plenty of evidence to sift through.
So what is it within this evidence, though, that the district attorney is looking for when deciding whether or not to bring charges against the officers? Is the body camera footage clear enough to make any decision there, or is it these other things you just talked about?
Number one, was the officer's recognition or awareness of a muzzle flash and a popping sound coming from the suspect's vehicle? Were they aware of that? It appears, at least preliminarily reports are that they were. Secondly, the fact that if they were aware this person or believed this person had a firearm and was shooting at them, once he took flight, and if they didn't know he had left a firearm in the vehicle, as far as they're concerned, that person is still armed. And then, of course, the final very thorny issue is each officer's individual use of force. They chased in a group, and all of them discharged basically at once, probably not aware in that split second how many shots the brother and sister officers were firing. So that's going to be key. Each individual officer's decision made, and we might have some decent angles of it from the body cam footage, although sometimes those can be shaky. They're not perfect. They're not a steady cam. But at the same time, it is evidence, and it's something that's going to be looked at very closely.
Meanwhile, the family's attorney is calling for reform. First, I want to play something that he said on Morning Joe.
Not only does the chase policy need to be reformed, but their use of force policy needs to be reformed. And it needs to be in line with the state of the art when we talk about how guns are used and under what circumstances. In this case, 2 officers used tasers. The first 2 used tasers. So there was no lethal threat. And to have 8 officers respond with over 90 rounds, more than 60 of which took my client down, is, again, absolutely inexcusable.
Danny, could a case like this cause the city to take a closer look at policies? Do you think any change could come?
I respect counsel's position there, but at the same time, here's the harsh reality of life, is that if the police initiate a car stop based on a ticket, something ticketable, speeding, an equipment violation, whatever, and that turns into flight, and that turns into a firearm discharging, at least perceived from the outside of the car, then that's going to turn into a possible deadly force situation. Again, there's always that secondary question of, were the number of rounds discharged reasonable? But you can relook at your pursuit policy all you like. If you initiate a car stop and there are muzzle flashes from inside the vehicle and popping sounds coming at the police, and that's reported throughout the radio, you're going to have a lot of police pursuing, and they're going to be ready with their hands on their firearms. That's just the reality of it.
Danny Ceballos, thank you so much.
Now to the busy and chaotic 4th of July travel weekend. The TSA says it screened more than 6 million people between Friday and Sunday. But for many passengers, plans are put in a holding pattern as airlines canceled or delayed thousands of flights.
It's unfortunate that plans are getting disrupted, but I think everybody's just back out and about and wants to go see their family, and it's causing a lot of disruption.
The line at LaGuardia for the TSA was literally wrapped around the entire terminal where the bag check was. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
NBC News correspondent Tom Costello joins us now from Reagan National Airport with more. Tom, good morning to you. I'm not just asking this because I have a flight later today, but how's it looking out there right now? And how did the 4th of July weekend compare to recent past years?
Yeah, I got to say, the weekend went pretty well, Joe. I mean, first of all, we did on Friday have nearly 2.5 million passengers go through TSA checkpoints. That's a post-2019 record. So yet another indication passengers are back in full. And then we saw, as the weekend progressed, and the weather was pretty good nationwide, the number of flight cancellations and delays, they started to decline compared to what we've seen in recent weeks. Compared to Memorial Day, an improvement. Compared to Father's Day, Juneteenth, a big improvement. Now, as you know, and we've been talking about this for a long time, the airlines have been trimming their schedules to accommodate the passengers with the number of pilots that they have on staff. So now, as you have that realignment, it does appear things are starting to improve. Today, 117 cancellations right now nationwide. That's not bad. That's a pretty good situation as we head into a Tuesday. And as you know, Joe, a lot of people use the July 4th weekend as their kickoff for their summer vacation, and they're on the road now or in the air for the next week or two.
When we talk about delays and cancellations, are the airlines doing anything or making any changes to try to make things better and clean up any of the messy problems out there?
Well, yeah, they have, as I mentioned, been trimming their schedules. United, Delta, American, all of them trimming their schedules starting last Friday, going through the next few weeks and months. And the TSA chief says, listen, you got to expect that things are going to slowly, underscore slowly, improve through August. But listen, this is also a very busy travel time for families. And so if you are traveling, especially with kids, download the app on your phone for your airline so you can track the progress of your flight. You can rebook yourself if necessary, and also get to the airport early. I've been preaching this for weeks and months now. You need to have pad time on both sides of your flight in the morning or whenever you're leaving, an hour or 2, 3 hours earlier than you normally would. And then same thing on the backside. In the event that your flight is canceled, you have at least some flexibility so you can reschedule. In other words, Joe, I know you're going to Orlando, you're going to Disney. Don't plan on putting on the Mickey Mouse ears just an hour after you land. It's going to take a while to get over to Disney if things go bad.
I'll keep the ears on hold, on standby there. We should know, Tom, I mean, this is not just a domestic issue. Travel experts say Americans who are booking European vacations this summer, they should be prepared for troubles overseas as well. What's causing the disruptions there?
Big time. I've mentioned to you before, I've got a European connection, and Belgium is especially hit. Belgium and France and Germany and also the Netherlands, and especially hard hit London Heathrow. Every one of these countries is dealing with strikes right now, not only with their airline crews, but with their ground crews as well. And they also are dealing with a surge of passengers because people are traveling again after the pandemic. So that has created real gridlock in Europe. And this is the summer of strikes anyway. As you know, Europeans generally go on strike in the summer if there's any time to do it. And so all of that is compounding. If you're flying to Europe, be prepared for flight cancellations and being rebooked. I mean, you want to build in pad time? You really need to build in pad time for a flight to Europe. Plan on extra days in the event you don't get back on time.
Wow, extra days. All right, Tom, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's now get a check on your morning news now. Weather.
Michelle Grossman is with us. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, guys, and it's a steamy and stormy day today. We're going to see storms for many of us throughout the northern tier of the nation into the Ohio Valley, also the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So taking a look at radar right now, we are watching storms already. We've been watching overnight storms as well. So that's what we're going to see as we go throughout this Tuesday. Some heavy downpours, lots of lightning, also some damaging winds and some hail when we see some of these storms. So look how many people are involved here. We're looking at 61 million people at risk for winds gusting up to 65 miles per hour. Some damaging hail. Also a tornado or two is possible from the Intermountain West into the northern plains, the Ohio Valley, the upper Midwest, the Northeast, into the Mid-Atlantic. Where you see that yellow, that is the likeliest spot. Where you see the enhanced orange spot, that's 3 out of 5 on the scale. So most likely we'll see some pretty strong storms there as well. Now, this could cause some troubles on the roadways, of course, especially where we see ponding on the roadways with that flash flooding. So I-90, Toledo to Syracuse, I-76, Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, I-81, Binghamton to Roanoke. We're looking at some slow travels there. Also in the air, Tom was just talking about some slowdowns. We're looking at the possibility for some delays, likely in D.C., possible in Detroit, Cleveland, Boston, New York City. also Philadelphia. Now, tomorrow we're looking at a lot of people at risk, too, for severe weather. 35 million people at risk with winds gusting up to 65 miles per hour. Some damaging hail once again, a tornado risk once again. And we're looking at the Carolinas now involved. So Charlotte, North Carolina. We're looking to Roanoke, Lexington, also Indianapolis for some really strong storms. This is a setup here. We're looking at that front kind of moving off to the east. It's going to bring rainfall rates of 1 inch per hour. That could lead to flash flooding. Also, this is kind of staying in place over the next few days. That's going to add to the water amounts as well. And then additional storms redevelop along that front tomorrow. Once again, wind damage and large hail is likely. We could see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain where you see the darker colors, the orange. And we are also looking at a really hot day, guys. We're looking at temperatures into the triple digits in parts of the central and southern plains. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Sure.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.